Welcome to our animated history ride. Today, the Cold War, a showdown between two superpowers who never quite punched each other, but danced a dangerous dance for almost half a century. We'll meet big ideas, nuclear deterrence, sphere of influence, proxy wars, colorful leaders, and surprising twists. And yes, we'll have jokes. Buckle up. After World War II, Europe was wrecked. The Allies, including the United States and the Soviet Union, faced the task of rebuilding. But it quickly became obvious. They had very different visions for the post-war world. The US wanted democratic allies and open markets. The Soviets wanted buffer zones, control, and socialism. That tension set the stage for the Cold War. At its core, the Cold War was an ideological war, capitalism and liberal democracy versus communism and state control. Each side believed their system was not just better, but morally superior. No direct military clash between the US and the USSR, thankfully. But they clashed everywhere else, via alliances, propaganda, espionage, and fostered conflicts in far-flung places. One of the defining features? The nuclear arms race. Each side piled up bombs, rockets, submarines. The logic? If you can destroy me, I can destroy you. That is the doctrine of mutually assured destruction, MAD. Because both sides had second strike capability, neither dared launch first. The world thankfully survived through brinkmanship and deterrence. To secure their interests, both nations built alliances. The US led NATO. The Soviets led the Warsaw Pact. Meanwhile, Stalin famously declared an Iron Curtain had descended across Europe. Those countries behind the curtain were, in theory, sovereign. In practice, they were heavily influenced or controlled by Moscow. Berlin was the hotspot. Though the city lay deep in Soviet-controlled East Germany, Berlin itself was divided among the Allies. In 1948, the Soviets blocked access to West Berlin, the Berlin Blockade. This was early proof. The Cold War would be fought in zones, not head-on. Berlin remained a potent symbol of division. Since the US and USSR didn't directly shoot at each other, they backed proxy wars, conflicts in third countries where they backed opposing sides. In 1950, the North invaded the South. The US, under UN banner, intervened. Eventually a stalemate, border roughly restored. US feared domino effect. If Vietnam fell to communism, Southeast Asia would follow. At the end, Americans leave, Vietnam unifies under communist government. In 1979, the Soviets invaded Afghanistan. The US supported Afghan fighters, some would later turn extremist, to bleed the USSR's coffers and morale. The Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962 was perhaps the closest we came to nuclear war. USSR placed missiles in Cuba. US blockaded them. For 13 nerve-wracking days, the world held its breath. Beyond hot wars, the Cold War was fought in spycraft and ideas. The CIA, KGB, double agents, defections, cloak and dagger stuff. Winning hearts and minds mattered. And each side desired to appear more modern, more free, more appealing. By the 1970s, both sides dabbled in détente, relaxing tensions, arms control treaties, SALT I and II. But crisis never fully left. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, renewed arms buildup, proxy wars, all kept the tension alive. In the 1980s, Mikhail Gorbachev rose to power. His reforms in glasnost, openness, and perestroika, restructuring, attempted to modernize the Soviet system. But the empire was crumbling. Eastern European states began revolutions. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989. The USSR dissolved in 1991. And so, the Cold War ended. Not with a bang, but with unraveling, reform, and collapse. Though the Cold War ended, its legacy lives on. Nuclear weapons still exist. New rivalries, US-Russia, US-China. Proxy conflicts, influence battles, cyber warfare, these are its heirs. The Cold War was a long, complex, dangerous dance. We survived it thanks to deterrence, occasional cooperation, and a series of endings that gradually unraveled the tension. Thanks for riding along with Passport Studio. If you like this, let's time travel again someday.